everybody. I don't know how I talked during this beginning part because you can't even hear me, but hi, everybody. Hi.
Hey, Josephine, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I know I'm so excited. Let's give it a couple, like a minute or two, just for everybody to kind of join in. That's going to join in.
Yeah, no problem. No
Hi,
problem.
Mercedes.
Hey, Mercedes. How are you? How's everybody? It's Friday, finally.
Friday, I know. Oh my gosh, this was my first full week back at work, and I was like, because they put us to halftime because of the COVID stuff, and I was
hmm
like, I don't think I'm gonna survive. I don't think I can do it.
How was it? How was your energy? Was it up
It
and
was
down?
long. Like on Thursday yesterday, I was just like, oh man, one more day.
Right, right. It's like, how did I used to do this all the time?
I know exactly. There's people who aren't even going in at all still, and I'm like, I don't know how they're gonna do it. I don't know how they're gonna
Right.
survive.
Oh my gosh, yes. They'll gonna be exhausted.
This could ruin some people's like work ethic for the rest of their lives, I think.
Right. It's like, man, I actually liked being part-time-ish or,
Like working from
working
home or
from
whatever.
home. Yep,
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh.
I know. And probably some people, maybe if I don't know, their work environment's not the best at home, maybe because of kids or something, they probably can't wait to go back.
I know. I don't know how people with small kids are doing it, to be honest with you.
I know, me neither. I'm
My
people.
are you oh yeah, I know. My sister's doing it too. She has
Like,
three kids. And
oh,
my little niece is 3, but then it's like
mhm.
two kids trying to do school, trying to occupy a 3-year-old and do her job all at the same time.
Yeah,
Like
yep. I don't know. It's like impossible.
people are gonna lose their minds.
Yes, yes. I'm praying. I can't wait until my daughter's school opens. Um,
Yes.
I can be like, okay, at least you can go for, half a day.
Well, even the kids are like, my son is dying. He wants to be around his friends, you know. He's
hmm
16 and he's like, he sits in
Oh,
front of the computer just like miserable here at
I
home on the
know.
kitchen table.
I know it's not fun. It's not as fun as
Mm-mm.
learning at school with other people
And
and
being around your friends and, just like the hustle and bustle of changing classes and all that too.
Mhm. Right, exactly, exactly. Hey everybody who's joining.
Like,
Casey's Beauty. Hi.
we'll
Hey
give it one
Brenda.
more minute and then we'll start. Just because we
Yep.
have the hour and like I tell you, it goes by so fast.
Yes, yes, it does. When I first started doing lives, I always forgot to like have a timer or a clock right nearby.
Mhm.
And then the timer would always come before I'm about to get kicked off, and I'm like, okay, everybody, thanks so much for joining. Have a
Yeah.
good day. Bye.
Yeah. You're like, oh my God, bye.
I know, it's like, man, like it goes by so fast.
It does. I'm like, how can I talk so much? But here I am.
Exactly. That's how I used to feel too. Like, who's gonna listen to me talk for an hour?
Yeah. Okay, we'll get started. So in case you guys don't know, this is Jacqueline for People of Color Beauty. She has her own polish line and she makes polishes that are flattering on darker skin tones. It's polish for everybody, but she emphasizes the flattering colors for darker skin tones, which I appreciate. And so my first question I have for you is kind of what inspired you to make People of Color Beauty?
Yes, definitely. I launched in May of 2019. The idea came to me around February of last year too. I was inspired by my daughter actually, who was 3 at the time. Her and my son would always go to my mom's house, spend the night, and every time she came home, my daughter's nails were always painted. And I'm like, oh, so cute. And I didn't have anything at home to keep up with her new interest in polish. I had very minimum, like my nail clippers and my nail file, and pretty much that was it. But her interest kind of rekindled my interest. I started thinking back to my childhood, and I didn't wear polish growing up. I played basketball, so I
Okay.
really didn't feel the need to have my nails done to go, play basketball. But also too, I never saw polish shown on brown hands, like any brown hand. And I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay. Like I didn't think anything of it. growing up because I was
Hmm.
so young. But thinking back, I was like, man, I really didn't see polish on brown hands. So I just skipped it pretty much altogether. And
Yeah.
so her interest, I've always been an entrepreneur, business ideas. So when I saw that she had this interest in nail polish, I looked around to my family. I'm like, there's so many shades of brown skin in my family. And obviously, there's so many shades of brown skin all over the world. And I said, what if somebody started a nail polish brand called People of Color?
Yeah.
And it would represent and celebrate people of color from all over the world. But it would also mean people of color because we all live and love in a world of color too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the brand name came from. It's where I thought of the slogan, nail polish for people of color and those who live in color,
Hmm.
because it really is for everyone.
Yeah.
But it's always when we select colors, it's the various shades of brown skin are our first thought when we're choosing colors, and it's never an afterthought, which is kind of what I felt like growing up because I just never saw it on anyone who
Yes.
looked like me.
Exactly. And I like, so when I first swatched your nude collection, I
Hmm.
was totally blown away because if you guys follow me on my channel, you know that I've talked about how nudes are like hard for me to wear. I have a hard
Hmm.
time picking a nude when you're brown. Like
Hmm.
you would think, well, you can just wear brown, but you can't just wear brown because you
Right.
get really washed out, you know?
Hmm.
And so I avoided nudes. So when
Right.
you reached out to me and I got the nude collection, I was like, okay, every single brown I loved. And I would like don't
Right.
usually like nudes. I don't usually like brown. And I was like, this girl knows exactly what she is talking about. And like
Right.
your color selections were just they worked perfect. And I'm not
Thank
super dark,
you.
you know, I'm more mid-tone. But all
Hmm.
the swatches I saw on various skin tones, I was like, these look amazing on everybody.
Right.
And
Right.
so
That was very important because when I thought of that collection as a theme, I looked at other brands and I either didn't find nude collections at all, or the ones that
mhm,
I found would stop at like, I don't know, like a light tan,
mhm,
where most of the colors were pink leaning nudes, and then it would stop at like light tan. And I'm just like, but what about all the other browns? Like there's so many, skin tones. Like, why does it stop right here? And
yeah.
so I actually have swatches. I don't have the bottles with me, but I do have swatches just to give people an idea of that collection. It's 5 colors, and we decided that we weren't gonna have like makeup shades where it's like 5,000 tones, skin
Mhm.
tone colors. It was, that's too many. So we said we're going to do 5 colors, and we're going to represent all skin tones within 5 colors. And the colors really look good. Every color looks good on every skin tone, and that
Yes.
was the point of this collection, was that um, brown skin was mostly just shown wearing pink leaning nudes, and it, yes, it looks nice, but what if I wanted something more skin tone?
Yes.
And this middle color, Bronze Beauty, was kind of like the end point of a nude collection, and it was
Hmm.
just like, where's the rest? And
Yes.
so that's why we went with this 5 color palette with choosing for that collection. And the feedback that we got was just like, wow, like you said, like I
Hmm.
don't really wear nudes, but hey, I can wear nudes now.
Yes.
Or this never looked good on me, but whoa, this looks good on me. And it was just
Yeah.
like, wow, for people to pour out that kind of feedback, it was like, okay, yes, like this is what people wanted, but they just never received it from anywhere. So
Yes. So
I was
Emraz for
like,
Life says Mother of Earth is her favorite brown.
thank you,
Mother of
Rob.
Earth is my favorite brown too.
Those
And
look
I
so good on
never
both of
like
you.
browns. Like never. I would
Right.
avoid brown polish. And when I put that
Hmm.
one on, I remember I even messaged you. I was like, OMG. I felt like a total sexy goddess diva in this polish.
Right,
And
right.
you like
Those look
changed my
so good.
mind on nudes completely with that collection. I was totally blown away. So if you
Thank
guys have not
you.
gotten that collection from her and you've struggled with nudes, I would definitely check it out.
Yes, yes. It'll be back at the end of this month, all of the colors from that collection.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, so thank
I
you.
actually broke one when I was moving into my polish room and I
Oh,
had to
no.
go reorder because I was like, I need this color. Like I can't be without it. So I went and I got a replacement. But I was just
Right.
like, they're so good. So I was gonna
Thank you
ask
so much.
you along those lines,
Mhm.
Let me see here. I have all my questions here.
Yeah, no problem.
How do you pick the shades that are flattering towards darker skin tones? How do you kind of go about that?
So actually, I have three brand ambassadors who you may know or may not know, but Demi, Anissa, and Shayna, who are what we call our POC beauties. And even though there are my brand ambassadors, it's really just me like running the business in totality. But I we're kind of like a family, us, me and them. It's not just, hey, I'm sending you polish, promote, and have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost like a focus group together, and we're all different skin tones ourselves. And
Oh,
so
okay.
when I come to them, I never have colors in mind. I have a theme in mind for the collection. So I say, okay, guys, fall, spring, summer's coming up for next year. This is my idea for the theme. Like, let's go with colors. And then like everybody's like, okay, well, if it's this theme, we need some of this, we need some of that. And then I'll pull palettes, and we really just will pick and choose from what we're formulating in our heads. And
Okay.
of course, because everyone is different skin tones, everybody's kind of gravitating towards things that will complement them
Yeah.
mostly. And so when we put it all together, it really kind of represents everybody because everyone's there providing input. It's not just me picking out colors that I think are going to look good on me. It's all of us picking out what we think will look good on us, and being different skin tones, it always comes together
Yeah, I
very
really like
well.
that approach. That sounds really cool that you have like representation, like we're talking about, and then
Mm-hmm.
everybody kind of gets a say. Because it's taken me a really long time to figure out what I like and don't like on myself. And I
Right.
think that's kind of the same for everybody in the polish world. It's a lot of trial and error, but there's
Mm-hmm.
always stuff that I'm like, I'm not sure.
Right.
And it's like it could be amazing or I could look like I am a corpse. And
Right.
it's going to be one or the other. And so a lot of times I'll just not spend because I
Mm-hmm.
actually talked about this in my polish pickup wish list video. There was a polish that came out that I was like, oh my God, I love it. But all her
Right.
swatches were on lighter skin tones. And I'm like, I know that that's not the
Mm-hmm.
look I'm going to get. And do I want to
Right.
really spend my $13 to be
Mm-hmm.
uncertain?
Right, right. And it's funny you say that. That's pretty much why I skipped wearing it when I was growing up because, I was younger. I didn't have a job. I didn't have like recurring money coming in. So it's like, oh, that's a pretty color in the bottle. But if I can never envision it on myself, why would I
Mhm.
spend all this money buying countless bottles and countless colors
Mhm.
to probably not like half of them? And then I've just
Yes.
wasted my money.
Well, and I
So,
just had that recently. I used up a whole blush that I had been using. And so
hmm
I went to the store and I picked one and I thought, well, this looks like it should work. And it was like our top selling shade. That should have told me right there, don't buy it. And so I grabbed it and I
hmm
came home and I put it on and I was like, I didn't look like I had anything on. It actually made my cheeks look white compared to
Oh
like
my
my
God.
skin. And I was
No.
like, fail. So I actually passed it off to my son's girlfriend because she's very like complected and it looked
hmm
really good on her. And
Right,
so then
right.
I hit up Diana from Some Call Me Coco and I was like, hey, give me some recommendations on lipsticks and
hmm
eyeliners and blushes and because she's darker and everything that she told me to get, I loved. So I was like, okay.
Right, right,
So
right. And that's why it's important with representation is that we can't look to others to represent us. We have to represent ourselves.
hmm
And in places where we don't see us, we have to go and be us,
yes,
to be out there because, like I said, the various shades of brown skin are my first thought, not my afterthought. Why would
yes,
it be an afterthought if I'm brown myself?
exactly.
Not that it's wrong, but these major companies, if they don't have diversity in every aspect of their business, they're going to pick and choose and do things in a way that is their first thought, and which is
Yes.
usually going to be them. And so that's why it's important to have a diverse workplace
hmm
and representation. And you can't just represent on the outside looking in, and then you look in the rest of the company and it's like, wait a second here.
Yes. Well,
It's
and I
not
feel like when it is like that, it
right.
almost feels out of touch for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're trying, but they're not totally hitting it. You know what I mean? Like it
Right.
almost feels insincere.
Right, exactly, exactly. And so that's why with people of color, I said, I don't see brown hands. I don't see, I might see one brown hand, but the one brown hand is always the same hand and it's posted like once every 6 weeks. Like that
Yes.
doesn't really help me
Yeah. Well, and
pick
that's
out the
my thing
color.
too. If we're lucky, like to me, I'm thinking of brands like that I feel do a really good job with representation.
Hmm.
But even them, like if we're lucky, we get, one pretty deep
Right,
skin tone, similar to you.
right,
Then they're gonna get 5 or 6 light skin tones. And then sometimes like my mid skin tone is nowhere to be found.
right, right. And it's
And if
like,
we're not lucky, we're getting all light skin tones, no dark skin tone, and that's all you get. And you're just like,
right,
well, I don't know, I can't make a
right,
decision. And
right,
I've thrown away
exactly.
so much money doing that. And I finally
Hmm.
have gotten fed up that I'm just like, I'm going to support people that value my dollar.
Hmm.
My money is hard earned too.
Right, exactly. That's why it was important for me in all aspects of the brand name, picking out the colors, the reason why the colors are chosen,
Hmm.
the names of the colors for some of the collections, and then anyone when they go to our Instagram page, you'll see everybody there.
Yeah.
You'll see all skin tones, which is
Yes.
perfect because it's like, oh, okay, I see this color, I like it, and I get to see it on a range of skin tones that I would
Yeah.
have never known maybe that it looked good on. I might have
Hmm.
a friend or family member too that I can tell about
Yeah. Like
this.
if I'm Christmas shopping or something, like you say, your family has a varying skin tones. Mine does too.
Right.
I'm a little bit tan. My sister and I are similar. My mom is
Hmm.
similar. But then like my nieces are half black, so they're deeper.
Hmm.
And then I have members of my family too that are like extremely light complected. And
Right.
so, even in one family, it just varies so much.
Yes, exactly. And that was what I was thinking when I was thinking of the brand is just various shades of brown, like
Mhm.
from very, very light to very, very dark. It's just so wide range. So that was always the first thought when we were choosing colors.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so when you were younger, did the lack of representation in the beauty industry give you any insecurities?
Um, yes and no. Yes, in the sense of you just didn't see it, so you thought it was normal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so you were just like, okay, we're not here. But also no, because I always knew that I was beautiful. I knew my family was beautiful. We were always proud to be who we are and how our hair was and how our skin was. But of course, there's always times, growing up where you're like, oh, why does my hair have to curl up when I sweat? Or if I go swimming, why
Yeah.
isn't it straight all the time? Or this, that, and the other. But you learn to, as you grow older and you learn to love yourself more and love the things as to how you are created, um, then you just embrace it and you're just like, you know, I'm the bomb no matter what I look
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. And for me, I feel like it was similar. So where I live,
Hmm.
my culture is the majority.
Hmm.
So New Mexico is very heavily Hispanic.
Hmm.
And so I guess like within my family and stuff, like everybody looked like me. In school,
Hmm.
everybody looked like us. We had very few, white kids, black
Hmm.
kids. It was all pretty much Hispanics. But
Right.
so like we, I guess, kind of didn't really realize we were different so much when we were
Hmm.
younger. But
Right.
then when I got into my teenage years and I was like starting to get into makeup and like looking at fashion magazines and things like that,
Hmm.
um, I had a hard time buying makeup because, they
Right.
wouldn't show it on people that look like us. So I would see a beauty ad and I would be like, oh my God, this looks amazing. And I'd
Right.
run out and I'd go buy it and I would put like a lipstick on me and I would be like, well, that didn't look like nothing like what was going on the
Right. The
magazine.
picture.
Yeah, and so I think that's when I kind of started realizing like there really isn't people in magazines that look like me. There's not people on TV shows that look like me.
Right.
Um And I don't think it created insecurity necessarily, but it was just you notice it's missing, you know?
Right, right. It's just I don't want to call it an empty feeling, but like you said, it's just something's missing. It's just
Mhm.
like, oh, like where are all the other people?
Well, and so what's crazy is like, so where I live, I was telling you it's majority Hispanic. My husband
Hmm.
actually grew up in a really small village, here in New
Okay.
Mexico with maybe 300 or 400 people.
Wow.
And
Uh-huh.
when he was younger, he had never even seen a black person
Hmm.
like on TV anywhere.
Right,
So they
right.
actually took a trip somewhere, and he was like, he said he remembers being a little kid, like, wow, like,
There's other people out here.
yes. And
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking if those kinds of things would have been in magazines, on TV shows, there wouldn't be
Right.
that shock.
Right, exactly. Yes, yes, I agree. And a lot of times people don't always have the means to just travel the
No.
US even, let
Yep.
alone the world to discover, all the people from all over. But
Yeah.
so that yeah, like you said, that's why it's important for there to be a diversity of people shown in everything,
Hmm.
TV, music, ads, just
Yeah.
everything, because the people that represent the country, which is, we're a melting pot from all over the
Hmm.
world, it really shouldn't be that hard to find someone.
Exactly. Well, and so my youngest son just went on a trip to Washington, D.C. with school a few years ago. And I
Hmm.
live in a very poor area as well, where I
Hmm.
live. And there was a little kid that went on this trip that had never been in an elevator.
Wow. Hmm.
And so where I live, there's no like tall buildings. There's maybe like one 3 or 4 story building. And
Okay.
obviously this kid had never been there because he had never been in an elevator.
Right,
And
right.
I was just thinking, that's insane to me. But
Hmm.
like, um, yeah, so if you don't even get that kind of experience, you're not
Right.
traveling the world and meeting people and seeing people. And I feel like when we
Exactly.
are represented, a lot of the times it's very stereotypical as well,
Right.
which I don't
So,
like.
right.
You
And
see
I think
Hispanics in
it's because
movies and
the wrong people are making those decisions, and there's no
mhm,
one to give any type of different perspective. And
yes.
so
So
they only
like,
know what they see.
like when they make movies for Hispanic people, and we're getting totally away from beauty, I'm sorry, but like, someone's a maid, someone's a
Hmm.
cholo, someone's a
Hmm.
gangster, someone's a drug
Hmm.
lord with the cartel. And it's
Right.
like, I don't do any of those things. I go to
Right.
work, I work in security, I work for the
Right.
government. It's not,
Right.
and same with you, like you make nail polish, you, but
Right.
where is a movie where it's just like us being regular everyday people blended in with everybody else that are regular everyday people?
Hmm. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It
So,
is.
okay. Let me see.
I love all the nail polish behind you. It's so
Oh,
colorful.
thank you. I feel like I have so many questions. I'm like, where do I go?
No, no problem. Take your time.
So I have what messages about your appearance like did you pick up from society growing up?
Um, I don't really feel like I picked up many images from society. I've never been one to like follow trends and wanting to do everything else because everybody else is doing it. Um, I've never been way out there. I've just
Mm-hmm.
kind of always been me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I think at most maybe growing up and getting a perm because I didn't feel like doing my hair all the time, and it
Mm-hmm.
was a little easier when it was, straight, even though you had to take better care of it because then it would just break off if you
Yeah.
didn't. But I never hated my hair. It was just that um, I guess the convenience of not having to do all these different things to it, especially playing basketball. It was either braided
Yeah.
when it was in season, or I, begged my hairdresser, my hairstylist, please give me a perm so I can just put it in a ponytail. I promise I'm gonna come back every 2 weeks and get it done. But otherwise, I feel like, I didn't really have those. I grew up in a diverse area myself, and so
Hmm.
I never felt out of place really anywhere.
Okay.
Even though where I grew up, the majority is white, there
Hmm.
was still a lot of Black people and
Okay.
other people, like a very diverse neighborhood, to where I never really felt like left out, and I was never the only one anywhere to feel uncomfortable to the point of where I wanted to,
To look
be or look
different or
like.
be somebody
Right.
else or
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
Do you feel like you have two cultures? Like, so for me personally, I feel like I have two cultures. Like I have my
Hmm.
Hispanic culture and my New Mexico culture, but then I'm also like very, my American culture. I grew up in America.
Right.
I like American movies and music and all of that stuff. But then I also have like this other side where like I listen to, traditional Spanish music and,
Hmm.
cook traditional Spanish foods and like um do you ever feel like torn between the two?
Um, Not really. I feel that most, um, not minorities, but most people from all over have some sort of culture that they're already rooted into.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we're from America,
Mm-hmm.
we come from somewhere else, or
Yeah.
we come from, you might be indigenous to the land, so you have your indigenous culture too already.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like for a lot of people, there is a balance that we do have to teeter totter sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
because um, unfortunately, people get uncomfortable when you're comfortable in yourself. It makes them
Yes.
uncomfortable, and it's like, wait a second, I'm supposed to be comfortable in who I am, and
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have to change to make you feel comfortable. That's your problem, not
Yes.
mine.
And
And
another
so,
thing I notice is a lot of people always say like, "Oh, why do you got to make it about race?"
mhm,
But when I'm just minding my own business, like doing absolutely nothing, so like at work, I work with a few people that, live where I live and stuff, and we'll just chit chat sometimes, you're not in Spanish, but we have like slang we speak and things like that.
mhm,
And here comes somebody, all, what are you all talking about? What are you guys doing? And it's like, this has nothing
right,
to do that you should speak English. And it's like, we're just minding our business.
right, right,
And so a lot
right,
of people are like, why do you got to
exactly.
make it about race or why do you got to make it about this? And it's like, I don't make it. I'm just here, just existing.
I'm
Like,
just chilling. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
so it's kind of weird. I don't know. And that's one thing that kind of does like, I'm like, I'm just here minding my business.
Right, like leave me alone. You inserted yourself into this situation,
Yeah.
so I shouldn't
Yeah.
have to change the situation,
Yeah.
to make you feel
It's
comfortable.
interesting.
Right.
So I was gonna ask you, so there's been like a recent surge in darker skin tone swatching, especially in the nail polish community.
Hmm.
Um, do you think it's a trend? Do you think it's gonna last? What are your thoughts?
Um, I think for some companies it's a trend. I think for some companies it will last. I feel that some brands, some companies really just didn't realize that they weren't doing these things, and now their eyes have been opened, and they really do care, and they're
Mm-hmm.
making positive, proactive steps to make changes. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe some of those changes are going to be long term.
Mm-hmm.
For other companies, as with anything, when it has to do with race, unfortunately, it's, oh, we care because it's the cool thing to do right
Yeah.
now. We're doing this, that, and the other. Let us donate some money. Let us hire, a person of color as our diversity and inclusion officer. And check, check, check. Okay, we're good to go. Back to
Yeah.
normal.
Back to
Um,
business as usual.
yes, exactly. And so I keep my eye out. I just keep my eye out, because you can tell, like,
Yes, I
who's
agree.
authentic and who's just doing it. That's why I made a post on our page when everything was happening with George Floyd, and the call to support the Black community and all these things, because I really felt a lot of it was fake and
Mm-hmm.
not really true to heart. And I just wrote a long post that said, brown skin is not a trend. Like, this is who we are. This is who I came to Earth as, and this is
Yes.
who I'm going to leave Earth as. And my life, my skin, my culture is not some trendy thing for the moment in time. This
Hmm.
is literally who I am and who I always will be. And so as things happen, I just kind of I do repost it sometimes on the feed or on
Hmm.
our stories because it's like a constant reminder to everyone as a whole that brown skin in any color is not a trend.
Yeah, and it's like not a fad for us, right? We can't just
Right.
go and like, oh, let me take all this off because the trend disappeared, you know? Let me go be something else now. Yeah, I
Right,
definitely agree with
exactly.
you. And I do feel like some brands were very hesitant to kind of get on board. And
Hmm.
that made me side eye a little bit too. I won't name
Right,
names, but there's definitely some brands that I'm like, yeah, you're on my no buy list right now.
right, right. And it's probably because I don't know, they didn't know how to face the music, they didn't know what to say, which is fine, but own it. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Like, we knew that you weren't, representing everyone to begin with,
Hmm.
but if you truly care, just make the changes, you
Hmm.
know, and just make the changes and keep it moving. You don't have to come out and say
To
that
make a
you're,
statement or yeah.
yeah, because then that's when it starts to seem like, okay, well, you never said anything before, but all of a sudden,
Hmm.
you're rah rah everybody.
Yeah, because there was a few brands I saw getting called out. Like once everything kind of happened, there was people kind of going out like, "Oh, this brand hasn't said anything. This brand hasn't said anything."
Hmm.
But there was people actually calling brands out in
Right.
comments and like, "Are you gonna start adding diverse swatchers?" And they would just
Hmm.
completely ignore the comment, like it never happened, and then just keep posting like business as usual. And I
Right.
definitely side-eyed that, definitely, because I thought, you want my
Hmm.
money is good, but then
Right.
you don't want to help me make my purchases.
Right, exactly. And I feel like too, if we as consumers have to pressure or force people to say that they're supportive of Black and Brown communities, they're not really supportive of Black and Brown communities. So
Yeah,
I
and I'd
don't
rather not
care
even
about them.
bother. I'd rather
Right.
have someone just be open that they're not, so I know,
Exactly. Yeah,
than like a wolf in sheep's clothing kind of thing, you know?
exactly. Smile in your face and then stab you in the back.
Exactly.
Like smile in your face to get your money, but don't really
Hmm.
care about you otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't care, then just say you don't care. And
Yeah,
like
it's
you
not my
said,
issue. I don't, it's not my
yeah,
deal or whatever, and,
yeah,
call it
I
a
could
day.
choose not to spend money there.
Yes, and then I make my decision as a consumer where I'm going to show my support.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree with that. So I was going to also ask you, did you have any beauty icons growing up?
Um, my mom, I wasn't really I've even till today, I'm not really into beauty like that. I don't wear makeup. I don't um I've just always been like this.
You're
Like
like a natural beauty that the rest of us are jealous of.
so that's why I say my mom because my mom didn't really wear makeup either. She always wore maybe like red lipstick.
Mhm.
And she painted her nails too, but I saw her. I didn't see her putting a face full of makeup on, so I didn't feel like I had to,
Mhm.
or that I wanted to. And then again, I played basketball, so I didn't have time, even if I
Yeah,
wanted to put makeup on and take it off, having practice after school every day and games. And so, yeah, I would say my mom is my beauty, my beauty icon, just
that's
because she was just herself. And
that's
I
amazing.
always felt that she was beautiful. And so that confidence spilled into me.
Yeah. So M Roz for Life says it's sad though. So I'm assuming she's talking about where we were talking about, brands not wanting to get inclusive. I
Hmm.
think it is sad, but it's like it is what it is. And I like
Right.
that's what I like about you. Like you, instead of like trying to get brands to be inclusive and stuff, you're just like, I'm just gonna make my own brand. I'm gonna include
Right.
myself.
I don't need anybody to represent me and what
Yes.
I love and stand for. I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
So when it's like people of color, that Like that's important to me. So I take very good care in choosing colors, picking names, things that represent and celebrate us because
Mhm.
it's not just Black people. People think sometimes, oh, if it's a Black owned brand, it's only for Black people, or the name
Yeah.
people of color, even, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's only for people of color. And I'm like, no, like read a little bit of our brand story. The name
Mhm.
is people of color and those who live in color. Do you live in a world of color? Yes. Okay, perfect. It's for you too.
Yeah.
So sometimes, people get a little thrown off by the name because they take it literally.
Mhm.
And although it is literal, it's also figurative. So if you
Yeah.
think of it in both ways, it really encompasses everyone.
Well, I think it's interesting because when people are not used to being excluded, right? Like the majority is not used to being excluded. Any
Hmm.
little thing that they feel possibly excluded about, they're like, this isn't fair, this isn't right. But then it's like, that's how we have felt our whole lives,
Right,
you know?
right,
And
right,
so when we actually come and like do something for ourselves and represent ourselves, it's not meant to be any kind of offense to anybody.
right.
We're just celebrating ourselves and we're allowed to
Right.
do that too, you know?
Right, exactly. And like we said earlier, if it makes them uncomfortable, then that's their problem and not
Hmm.
ours. Like me
Yeah.
celebrating who I am is
Has
for me.
nothing to do with anybody else,
Right,
really.
right.
Yeah. So Pretty Poised and Polished says she loves your nail polish brand and the formula is amazing.
Thank you so much. Yes, I was just talking to her, I think either earlier today or yesterday. She had sent some pictures. So thank you, thank you.
And then Emerald's Life says she grew up a tomboy, not really a girly girl, but she's always loved polish.
Nice, Rosalind.
Yeah, so I've always been a girly girl. I've always been a girly girl. So there's pictures of me when I was probably like 4 years old. I'm wearing like 49 plastic necklaces. And I have on like these big, huge strawberry earrings, and I have a purse that's shaped like a strawberry. And like,
So cute.
so I've like always been
Get
like all about
nail
the,
polish.
the makeup and the nails and all of that stuff. I've always like enjoyed it. And I
I
feel
love
like
it.
for that, for me personally, has kind of, um, I was looking outside for representation and I was looking outside for validation a little bit.
Hmm.
And, and I do feel like I feel like are in a better spot maybe than I was in the beginning because I was very like, I don't want to say desperate, but I really wanted to find myself in what
Hmm.
was being shown.
Right, right.
And it wasn't there.
Hmm.
It wasn't there. And it didn't make me insecure necessarily, but I would be like, well, people are blonde. Maybe I should try and be blonde. And
Right.
then it's like, girl,
Hmm.
you can't be blonde. Look at you. Or I would be like, oh, people are really, really thin and they're not curvy. And I would be like, man,
Hmm.
why can't my body be like that?
Right.
Or, just different things like that. But
Yep.
then there's a whole other issue. So I was huge into Gwen Stefani in the 90s.
I like her
And do you
too.
remember when Gwen Stefani had her like chola phase?
I do.
It was completely the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I was like, girls in my culture have been being cholas for a million years. And for us, it's ghetto. Like, we can't be cholas. It's wrong. But
Right.
when someone else comes and takes it and, steals it, basically, it's
It's
celebrated.
cool. It's trendy. Makes the front page.
Yes,
Yep.
it's amazing. And then years later, she did the same thing with those like Harajuku girls or whatever. I still
Hmm.
love Gwen Stefani, but I'm just like, that was so wrong. And back then,
Right.
that was not considered anything.
Right. Exactly. It's crazy. I mean, brown skin is not a trend is like the only thing I could think
Exactly.
of because it's like everything that we do, just us living our everyday lives, is
Hmm.
trendy to other people.
Yes. Or
But
they
when we
pick and
do it,
choose what they find of our culture to be valuable, and then
yep,
they take it and sell it and
yes,
get more for it than we do. And
yep,
then when we do it, it's wrong. And
yep,
that is just something I
exactly.
cannot comprehend. But
Yes.
V wants to know when you're going to ship to Canada.
I know. V is funny because when I first launched last year, she was actually one of the first people that I had sent polishes to as well to try out. But since COVID started happening, I still had Canadian shipping up on my website. And then packages that I sent there got sent back to me, and I was just like, what the heck? Like, I was literally just shipping to Canada. So I took it away for the time being because of that reason. I didn't want to, you know, guess and spend money shipping and having people pay just to come back and be like, oh, sorry, it got sent back.
Yeah.
I can never find a definitive answer on the US Postal Service website, but I
And then the post office is even more of a mess now with everything going on, whatever that is.
right. And I think there's other brands that are shipping to Canada. One I do speak with. I'm going to speak with her a little bit more, but I think I'm going to bring it back soon. It's just going to have to be ground shipping only to Canada, but I have to figure out how the pricing is going to work because as of right now, shipping to Canada is like $11,
Mhm.
and I don't feel comfortable charging someone $11 for shipping.
You know, though, the
So,
Canadians, poor things, they're used to it. All the international people are always, it's rough for them.
no, I know. It's funny. I had someone in Bermuda reach out to me. She wanted to carry the polishes in her salon, and I was like, you know, that would be so cool. It would be like the first Caribbean salon that we would have. And I was like, I don't know how much the shipping's going to be. So I figured it out for her and it was like $300. And I was just like, I didn't even want to tell her because I'm
Yeah.
like, who's going to pay $300 to ship like 12 polishes? But I told her anyway because
Yeah.
it was her inquiry and she was like, sure, no problem. We're used to paying that for stuff
They
to get it
are.
to us. Like,
Like, I would never buy anything again if I had to pay that much to ship
I'm
something.
crying.
I
But yeah,
know.
so yeah, I do plan very soon too. I just want to finalize a few things because I don't really want to have to charge $11 to ship one polish, maybe
Yeah.
to Canada. That's just it seems so absurd to me.
So I guess my big question is just why do you feel like representation is so important? Like for you personally, why do you go out of your way to just be so good at representation with your brand?
Um, because I feel like people should be seen. I feel that outside of looking at the mirror, you should see yourself in the world.
Hmm.
And it's not up to other people to show you who you are. It's up to you to show the world who you are. And so I
I
feel
love
that
that.
with people of color, we get to show the world who we are through the
Mhm.
celebration of ourselves with the pictures that we post, the women that we post, the names. I mean, where in the world are you gonna see uh Anna Kona on a nail polish bottle?
Yes,
It's
yes,
just
yes.
like where would you even hear her story if you didn't
Hmm.
live in Haiti, probably? Like even some of the stories that we learned about making the Queen collection, I was like, I'd never even heard of this woman, let alone
Yes.
anything about her story. Why hasn't this been told anywhere? Like, I know that she was clear across the world, but still, this is an important story.
Yeah.
And it's just
Well,
like,
and
where else are you going to find these things if
mhm,
we don't do it ourselves? So we have to tell our
yes,
story.
I agree with you completely. And one of the reasons I'm so when I started my YouTube channel, it was more just about sharing polish with people. But
Hmm.
the more into nail polish I got, like the more I realized how underrepresented my skin tone was. And
Hmm.
also my age. A lot of the
Hmm.
girls in the polish game are young. And I'm
Hmm.
like the polish grandma over here, like, hey, polish peeps, what's up? With my walker. And so, the way things get normalized is like, we put ourselves out there.
Hmm.
And so I feel like my swatching is almost, there's so many ladies that message me like, thank you for showing something on somebody darker. Or like, I always watch your videos to see what something's going to look like on me. Thank you for all the work you do. And
Right.
like, that just it just makes me feel so good. It really, really does. Because when I was younger, I didn't have that. And I know that
Right.
that was something that I like wanted and like longed
Hmm.
for was to see somebody that looked like me out there.
Right, exactly, exactly. So yeah, what you do is very important, and you sharing your story is very important too, because there's always someone, usually when we do and go through things in life, it's for us kind of, but it's always for us to overcome it and then share that with other people, because there's
Yes.
always so many other people who go and think the same things that
Mhm.
we used to. So
Yeah,
thank
I actually
you.
saw a good meme that said, all the things you overcome when you share the roadmap for the next person.
Yes, yes, because there's nothing new under the sun.
Nope.
Nothing.
Mhm.
So somebody has gone through it, somebody has survived it. So it's
Yeah.
up to us to share our story so that we can help other people.
So let's talk about your fall collection. I know you have the
Yeah.
polishes. Show them to us. So she has a new
Oh,
fall collection. It's already available, right?
yes, yes.
Okay.
It's the Queen Collection. So for fall winter, we are celebrating 5 women of color queens from around the world.
I
And we
love
picked
that
up,
idea too. I've
thank
been reading
you.
everything you've been sending out. I'm like, these are so cool.
I know the stories are just amazing. Some of the stories when we were learning about it, I was like, "Ugh." And then some of them I was like, oh my gosh, that really happened. It was just like,
Yeah.
wow, these women are
Well,
so
when you read
amazing.
about like empowered people that are similar to you, it like empowers you, I feel like.
And these were some brave women, because I don't know that I
Yes.
would be fighting the British Army and all of the things that some of these women did. It's just like, wow.
Yes.
So this first one, and I apologize if my lighting throws the color off, but this one is Makeda. This is She's mostly known as the Queen of Sheba, but her name is Makeda, and we chose this color because it kind of represented the spices, probably the mixture of spices that she could have brought to King Solomon, who was the king of Israel at the time. Um,
I saw that
um,
swatch on somebody and I am excited to try that one. It looks really pretty.
yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
one is so pretty. I love it. And it has a little shimmer to it as well.
Yeah.
Um, the next one was Queen Maremi from Nigeria.
Oh, that is
And
my favorite because I like a
this
bright
one's
polish
so
for
pretty.
fall. I love that one.
Thank you so much. This one actually represents the river, and I just finished posting her story today, but her village kept being attacked by a neighboring tribe or people, and they couldn't figure out why. And so she made like a pact with the river that if they could overcome these people, that she would sacrifice her son to the river at the time. And it was just like, wow. So this color actually represents the river, and that's how we
Okay.
chose that color. This one is Anacona. This is the queen. Um, I can never pronounce the original name of the city. It is a Spanish name, but it's a present day city in Haiti
Okay.
today. But read her story, because yeah, it's I wrote it out, but her name in English means golden flower, and so we wanted to name it after her, because and this color to honor her
That's
name.
your first topper, right? Is that the first topper you've released?
It is, yes. The first like full glitter polish. And if you wear it by itself too, it's still very pretty. I usually wear it in 2 coats to where it's kind of sheer but kind of glittery
Oh,
with the
okay, like
flake.
naked, but something more.
Yes,
Yeah, that's always a good
exactly.
look.
Yes. And so her story was upsetting, so I don't want to bring down the mood, but please read her story on our feed, because yeah, it was a little upsetting, but we wanted to honor her. And then this one, the green color, is Queen Liliuokalani from Hawaii. She was
I
the
love that one
only
too.
queen of Hawaii, and she was overthrown basically by the U.S. government, and then they annexed the islands of Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
And they held her as prisoner. She was a prisoner basically until she passed away.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that one was a little upsetting too, but she fought to um, bring power back to the throne of her people, but unfortunately they were overthrown. So we chose this color to honor and represent her, but the colors to kind of celebrate the land of Hawaii.
Oh, okay. That's a
And
pretty one
then
too.
thank you. And then the last one is Rani Chinnama. She's a queen from Couture, I believe, in India. And this color, she actually was the first woman to successfully defeat the British during their first encounter. But unfortunately, they then attacked them again and captured her as prisoner. But we chose this color to represent her because in a lot of the pictures that she's shown riding like this black slash charcoal gray horse.
I saw the pictures, yeah.
And so when we chose this color, or when we saw her story, it was like, yes, we have to, choose a color like this. So this one kind of represents her bravery and celebrating that first victory that she had against the British.
Awesome. That's a pretty color too.
Thank you. So those
I have
are
a
the
couple
five
of viewer questions that I'm going to ask you just because there's only a few and I just want to get them in. So
Yeah.
Joy from Joyful Beauty said that you guys are both alumni of UNLV.
Yeah.
And
Wait.
she wanted to know what you got your degree in. And do you
Ah.
remember any of the math teachers? Because she has a math degree.
Oh, really? Huh,
Yeah.
funny story. Yes, I started at UNLV. I started as a pre-professional biology major because when I was growing up, I always wanted to be a veterinarian.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and then when I started, I always hated math and science, but I was like, I don't care. I want to be a veterinarian. But when I started and the science and math classes were like way over my head, I don't remember the math teachers because I switched majors
Oh, okay.
to,
You're like done.
yeah, that was done after the first year, but I finished with a degree in hotel management. Um,
Oh, okay. That's a perfect degree because you're from Nevada, right?
I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I
Okay.
grew up in Southern California, but then I went to college in Nevada. So I lived there
Okay.
for 4 years in Las Vegas. But yes, it was still perfect because it was the hospitality, capital of the world, and I
Yes.
love travel and all those things.
Oh,
But
I love Las Vegas. Love.
yeah.
Okay, and then one more question. This is from Mojo Cosmetics. She has
Mhm.
her own brand as well. And she wants to
Okay.
know, how do you keep motivated to keep going when things get challenging with your business?
Ooh, what motivates me is I want to leave a legacy for my family, for my children, not really for them, but for their children.
Yes.
I really believe in creating generational wealth and passing something down. And so that's kind of what motivates me to continue on because, the short-term things that are happening are kind of just for that moment, but you have to live in the moment, but also always be thinking of the bigger picture. That kind of keeps me. Oh, am I back?
Uh-oh. Yeah, you're back.
Okay, sorry.
Like eye on the
So
prize, right?
yes, that's what keeps me motivated. And then I'm spiritual as well, so I do, Bible studies during the evening times when I have time for myself. And I think feeding myself spiritually helps me stay in that mental space to
Yes.
like, okay, you
Me
can do
too. Yeah, me too. When I'm like in my most stressed out, I'm like, give me a good sermon.
this.
Like, give me what I need to hear. And it's funny because it's always exactly what I need to hear.
Exactly, like all the time on the dot. And it's like, okay, God, I know you're eavesdropping
I
in
know, I'm
all of my
like, you're
things.
definitely in my brain because that's exactly what I needed at this very moment. It's so
Right.
crazy how that works.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
It's like
Oh,
just perfect timing. Huh?
oh, are we out of time? Almost.
We got maybe a couple more minutes.
Okay.
So go ahead and make your announcement.
Oh, announcement.
Jacqueline
Okay,
has a
so
big announcement.
yay! This is for to celebrate you guys and to thank you for joining us and staying with us during the hour. So Josephine is going to post our live to her feed after we log off. So we want you guys to like the post, comment on the post, and tag somebody that you would love to hear our message from today. And we're going to, I don't know, Josephine could decide, but I don't know, a timeline, but we're going to choose somebody. And I have just one of these left because the rest sold out and they won't be back until the end of the month. But I'm going to give away one of Lily Ukalani's nail polishes. And so, yes, all you have to do is like, comment, and tag somebody when
And
she
that'll be
posts.
US only, right?
Yes, unfortunately, US only for now. Hopefully soon I can send to Canada again.
So I think I'll give it a week. I'll have all the information on the post for you guys, but thank you for doing that. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, of
And
course.
I'm actually going to be swatching this collection. I'm super excited. So be on the lookout for a live swatch and review of this. I've tried People of Color Beauty. I love, love, love her formulation. Every
Thank you.
polish has been like butter. And
Thank you.
I love your cause. I really do. I love what you're doing. I love, how you're trying to include so many people and just make people feel beautiful. Because there's
Hmm.
people that just don't feel that, and that makes me so sad. Like it's
Yes.
a sad thing that some people feel ostracized and left out.
Hmm.
Everybody should be able to feel included, be able to see themselves in things that they enjoy. If you love polish
Exactly.
and you look at a feed and you're like, oh my God, someone there looks like me, it does
Right.
something to you. When you don't see yourself there, it does something to you as well. And I just hope that going forward, women don't have to feel like that anymore because it's really sad.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. My favorite Idris Elba polish. Yes, mother.
Yes.
Why do it look so good on you? I remember.
Girl, I don't know how that polish can be so sexy, but that is like one of the sexiest polishes I have ever worn.
Well, thank you so much. Yes. And it's funny too, because even when we were picking out the colors and we finally were trying them on, I was hesitant too because I'm like, I don't know, like, is it going to be too dark of a brown? But then as soon as I put it on, I was like, whoa,
Oh my God,
like,
me too. I was
this
like,
is epic.
I'm feeling myself. Check me out. Look at these nails.
Right.
Let me toss my hair I don't have. I was like all about
Right.
it, waving them at my husband.
Right. Like, look at this. Yes.
Like, do
It's
you
just
see this?
like,
Do you see what's going on right here? But
yes,
yeah, so just,
I
I don't know.
appreciate
I guess we
you.
might have, I haven't, my timer hasn't come up. That's kind of weird.
Yay. Well,
Oh,
we
there it
have
goes. 2 minutes
like,
remaining. There it is.
oh, okay.
But thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I feel like it's such a big topic and there's so much to cover and everybody has so many different experiences. I hope we gave like a little glimpse of just why we feel like this is important.
Yes, yes. And if you
Because
have comments that you didn't get to share, post them in the comments when Josephine posts,
yeah,
and we can chat some more in the comments.
yeah. And if you want us to maybe come back for a part two and you guys have some questions after we've talked, maybe we can come back for a part two and just like talk
Yeah.
more about it because I just feel like this is such an important topic, and I feel like if it hasn't personally affected you, sometimes you don't even realize it's an issue. Like you said, some brands may
Mhm.
not even realize they're leaving people out or they're
Right.
making people feel a certain kind of way.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So yes, all you'll get from us is celebrating and representation from people of color and those who live in color, and that's all we can do. So
Yeah,
yes.
and the big message is love yourself, love your culture, be yourself. Don't be afraid to be those things. Like you don't have to blend in with everybody else. You get to be
Yeah.
who you are, and there's nothing wrong with it. Don't apologize. Don't hold back. Don't, you know, even if
Yes.
it bothers somebody, that's their problem. It's not yours.
Exactly. Yes. That's an excellent closing statement.
So, well, thank you. We have about 34 seconds, so I'm going to say goodbye. And people
Okay.
say they want a part two, so maybe we'll plan.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
down.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much. We'll
guys.
see you. Bye.
Bye.